Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another watch list. Basically, think of this as a monthly TV guide for me to let you know what and when TV shows that I'm interested in, that maybe you are interested in too, are coming out. Like always, in the description down below, I'll include any links to any trailers that might be available about anything that I bring up during this watch list. On April 1st, which will be today by the time you see this video, on Netflix, we have the premiere of Ultraman, which I am not that familiar with Ultraman. It is a very old series, anime and manga. Well, at least I think manga. It seems like it goes back to like the 60s, but obviously this is like a more recent reboot of it. Essentially, like I said, I don't know much about it, but it seems really interesting. It seems kind of like a kind of Sentai superhero show, which I guess, you know, Sentai stuff kind of borderlines on superhero stuff naturally, but it definitely really seems like a superhero show of kind of like, oh yeah, like I'm getting in this power armor and I'm trying to fight like monsters and stuff like that, trying to save the day. So it seems very interesting, like I said, coming from someone who knows nothing about it. What I also like about it too is its art style. Just like when you compare like what the characters look like and then compare to like the detail to like the suits and stuff like that, you know, when they go all superhero, putting on like that power armor and stuff, it seems, I just like how it looks. You know, it reminds me of this anime, if you've seen it, Blast Rider. It kind of seems like it has a similar animation to that. There's also another anime, I think, that's from those same people who made Blast Rider. I can't remember. It's something with a K. It's been a while, but I just like the art style. It seems very interesting. So, like, you know, obviously if you're looking for something on the more anime front, then throwing that out there. Also on April 1st on the CW, we have DC's Legends of Tomorrow returning, which I'm super excited about. Obviously, this has been a crazy season so far. I don't want to get too much in spoilers, but obviously a lot of interesting things is going down, especially some stuff related to Constantine, which obviously is going to affect the rest of the team as well. But there were some interesting developments we learned in the mid-season finale, you know, before the break. So I'm very happy to have Legends come back. It's also something I've talked about too. I'm interested to see, because obviously it's taking over, you know, Arrow's time slot on Mondays, like Arrow's being pushed back an hour, but I'm curious like what that might mean story development wise, whether that will really have much of an effect. We'll see. But like I said, I'm loving this like supernatural side of Legends of Tomorrow. It's, you know, the show continues just to be fantastic and a blast, so I'm very excited to pick up the story and see where the rest of the season takes us. On April 4th on Freeform, we have the season 2 premiere of Marvel's Cloak and Dagger. Do note that it is a 2-hour premiere. I'm very excited to see what this new season has in store for us. If you've not seen season 1, you need to change that. It's fantastic. The fact of the matter is, I'm so interested to see where, you know, Tandy and Ty's story take them this season. Obviously, like everything they went through last season was like heavily personal stories for them, which obviously is continuing that in certain degrees, because obviously Ty's dealing with some stuff on his own, but so is Tandy. Like a lot of stuff was revealed to them, you know, last season, and obviously the continuation of the growth of their abilities, as well as like obviously like stuff that's going down in New Orleans. I'm curious to see what that ends up being, because you see them kind of stepping more in the hero role essentially, but also the main antagonist. Obviously, if you haven't seen Cloak and Dagger, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm so interested to find out about the main antagonist role in this, just because who that person is and how that's going to affect the story, especially because it seems like from the trailers and stuff like that, the connection between Tandy and this main antagonist, like that seems like that's a dynamic we're going to be delving into this season, which I'm interested to see, you know, what ends up becoming of that. So on April 5th on Netflix, we have part 2 of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, part 2 obviously being season 2. I'm very excited to see where part 2 took us. Obviously, if you were unaware, because I didn't notice at the time, like, I mean, it took me a while to find out about it, but there's actually like a Christmas special episode that takes place in between part 1 and part 2. It's tacked on as episode 11 of part 1, just to kind of put that out there if you haven't seen. But obviously, like, some things went down for Sabrina in part 1 and part 2, just based on the trailer that I've seen. It looks crazy. It looks so good to see like where Sabrina's story kind of picks up. It's interesting because like it seems like we still get some of like what we saw of Sabrina in part 1 in certain regards, because it seems like that's just kind of who she is, trying to do things her own way essentially, and kind of who cares about the consequences? It almost seems like that's still potentially there, but obviously like the whole situation with the Dark Lord, it seems like we're going to be definitely taking more down that route of kind of finding out what Sabrina's part is to play in all of this. I think we'll also get to see more of her at, you know, school, you know, I'm blanking on the name right now, but the academy she's going to for like witches and stuff like that. We'll probably delve into that more. That might be more of a thing this season than it might have been, you know, in the previous seasons. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see like if there is that heavy amount of balance between both worlds for Sabrina, like in part 1. You know, like I said, don't want to give too much away, but obviously choices were made in part 2 to heavily impact her. So I'm very interested to see what part 2 has in store for us. And finally, on April 30th on the CW, we have the season 6 premiere of The 100. Super excited about that, especially the way season 5 played out. Did not expect things to kind of turn out the way they did. Like, obviously, it's some huge development. Obviously, like, a lot of things have changed for a lot of the characters after everything that they've been through. So I'm curious to see, like I said, I don't want to talk too much about it without, you know, trying to avoid spoilers and stuff like that. But the new adventure, I'll leave it at that, where everyone is on, like, obviously, like, everything they were dealing with last season. Still, obviously, it seems like they put that behind them, but I think there's going to be some level of that. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how a lot of like the dynamic and relationships, you know, are affected by everything that went down, because a lot of people didn't end on necessarily the best of terms last season. There's some complicated relationships amongst the characters, but I'm so interested to see things develop going forward. And what this new development is going to look like is the most exciting thing, because it's like, oh, it's so exciting. It's new territory in many different ways than one for the show, and I'm excited to see what those developments end up being. And so that brings this month's watch list to an end. I do know that is kind of on the shorter side, but like always, if there's something that's coming out that you're interested in, that you think me or someone else might be interested in, don't be afraid to leave it in the comments down below, because obviously, like, you know, new stuff pops up all the time, so I might not be aware of something that comes out until after I've already posted this. So, but really, that's all I'm going to talk about in this video. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.